Hey guys, welcome to the upcoming week analysis video. Today's date is the 11th of March 2018 and we're going to kick things off looking at the euro versus the dollar on the daily time frame. Now as you can see, last week we've pretty much just done a run straight up through where we have this red support zone here, and we'd marked this out from our consolidation high over here. We had a reversal down here, and then we had some intraday support forming around here. We did have a fake out touching the long term 50 MA before it just headed straight back up and then touched our support line up here. And that was at the 124.45 mark. Now on Thursday you can see we had this massive bearish engulfing candle which actually came from the dovish ECB inflation concerns. However, it didn't continue all the way down obviously because of NFP on Friday being a bit mismatched, which has kind of caused us to stall here just below our daily support, which comes in at about the 122.9 handle, maybe even up to the 123 even, which should form as a nice strong support. This red zone actually can continue over like so, and we can see that we actually do have the long-term MA that it's just bounced from almost perfectly, and it's came up and rejected from the top of these short-term MAs as well. However, obviously in our strategy we will look for a reversal in these moving average zones, which will show us that we can get some upside potential. Now of course, as we said, we have the red zone here which is acting as support for us, coming from the 122.71 mark all the way down to the 122.37. Below there we actually have this zone which I'm actually going to drag up and pretty much just make into one here because they're really both just the same. Grab a line and also whack that on just down here. We've put that in at the 121.77 mark. As you can see, that was the low after we had this massive run up and we pulled back before heading up even further. This is where we stopped, and recently when we came back into here we got rejected and headed back up again, so this is obviously a nice strong support zone for us. However, anywhere in here we can definitely see a reversal. Obviously we have these highs all the way back here which we came into twice before getting rejected, and before we had the massive run up this is exactly what stopped us. And so when we compare this to the actual upside potential, we can see yes, we have some resistance at the 124.51 mark. However, it's not entirely that strong. It is where we reversed from on Thursday from the data and Wednesday's spike high point, but it's not really anything that significant. The most significant one that we have to the upside is the 125.24 mark, which is obviously our 2018 highs, but I don't think it's as strong as the support that we have below. As we can see, the markets have actually just opened up, so we're probably going to wait out on Sunday, so all of this evening, and Monday, and we'll try and see what the market wants to do on Tuesday. Monday's a really quiet day for us in terms of news. However, on Tuesday we do have the USD core CPI numbers, and so that should really set the tone for the week of the way that the dollar wants to move. If of course we can see that we're going to actually move up from those numbers off this support zone, then we can definitely look to be getting long. First intraday targets I'd have at about the 123.82 mark, and then second targets at 124.49. If though we do break below this long-term MA that we have and we end up in this red zone, we're very likely to consolidate, not really do a huge amount, and so we're definitely not going to be looking to trade it because that's just not going to be smart for us. And then obviously, as I said, I wouldn't get into a trade on Monday even if this shows a sign of going up, because everyone's going to be waiting for those numbers on Tuesday before they put their money into the market. So it could just go either way on Tuesday and ignore completely whatever candle Monday just forms. So next up we have GBP USD. And as you can see, if we zoom out here, we obviously have Brexit back here, and then we drew out these lines where we'd just been going up in a zone. Wasn't really any strong moves, it was just sort of recovering from the Brexit, and we came back into the area where this Brexit drop happened. And after a false breakout of our trend line just here, we came back in for another false breakout, and then a lot of rejection from that trend line before heading down and coming back up again to touch our MA zones. And of course our strongest resistance that we have is the 140 even handle, which is coming in just around here, matching up with sort of the consolidation that we've seen around here. Now of course on a purely technical level what it looks like is that we're going to get up to this level here again, back at the 139.40 mark, and then we're just going to head down even further. Obviously we're in a downtrend as we can see, and what I can also see is that we had a massive push down from sellers. There was a lot of sellers interested at this area. They pushed it all the way down, and then it took a lot of buying, very small candles coming up, one indecision candle, and then boom, sellers jumped back in again and pushed down hard. Now we're trying to push up again. It's very likely this area is going to contain a lot of sellers that want to push the price back down. Now the area that we can see it come down to, of course, as we said, we have our first support line here at 138.10, and then we have the low that comes in just there, almost with this candle too, at 137.60, so that would probably be our intraday targets down there. If of course we do see a break of the high that we just said about, then of course we're going to see buyers take over instead and probably push price up. we do have a resistance line just there, which comes in pretty much exactly at the 140 handle. It's about 8 pips above. So we definitely want to get out just before the 140 even handle, because as we said, that is a massive area of support or resistance, and we're likely to pull back from that, so definitely just get out a few ticks ahead of that. Again, this is a USD pair, so ignore it on Monday, wait for the numbers on Tuesday, and then whatever that shows us that the market wants to do, we can use that to our advantage and decide that if this short is actually going to play out for us. Hopefully price will be up at this resistance line when that happens from just Monday moving a little bit. And then we'll be lined up for a perfect short, but just be very careful not to get in too early before those numbers come out. So now over to USD/JPY, what we can see here is we have this daily support zone that was formed at the 108.37 mark. A lot of rejection down here when it tried to break, pushed up temporarily, rejected around here again, and then as soon as we broke, that was it, just free fall all the way down. We tried to come back up to test it here, but it didn't quite get up there, so we're seeing that sellers are still very interested even at this price, and they pushed it down hard, came back up to try again, and just got pushed down harder again. What we can now see is it looks like there's been some profit taking from this, and it's actually heading up a little bit further. Of course though, we are still in our MA zone here, which we call the golden zone, between the two short-term MAs that are perfect for reversals to get in on a short. But we can see that we've sort of bottomed out here, if we was to draw on that line there. And so really, do we want to go short from here? Probably not. This could just be a push back up at least to the daily support. Remember, we have a long-term MA up here as well, which hasn't been tested since all the way back here at the start of 2018. And so that's very likely to get up there. More intraday, we have some resistance at 107.33 and even further up at 107.89. Both of those are going to be key areas to look out for. Especially here, I'd probably be taking my first lot of profits here and maybe trailing for a few extra pips just up to here towards the daily support, but I would 100% be out way before we hit this daily support there. Of course, on the flip side, what we could see is that instead of this happening, we do have some resistance here. Perhaps we get up and test this, and this is still in the MA zone because we have the long-term MA there. And then we could see price just roll over, come down and break the lows. And so if we do see a nice rejection from this resistance area here, which of course comes in at 107.32, then we can look to short down to 107 first of all. That's a very short intraday move, and then all the way back down, going past the 106 mark, which is obviously the lows here. Perfect place for our first lot of take profits. And then we have 105.61 down here for our extended take profits. We're going to be flexible with this either way until Tuesday. As soon as those numbers come out, we're going to see the way the market wants to go, and we should be all set. So we're going to end off just by looking at the US dollar index. And of course what we can see here is exactly what we expected last week. We have our resistance line over here, support down here that was pretty strong. After coming down and heading back up, retesting for a little bit, and then coming up and hitting it again. We've dropped and sort of just come back up again a little bit, but it's not like it's coming up to recover to the upside. It's just a bit of a retracement. And of course we know this came from what we were talking about earlier, the USD dovish ECB numbers. So of course, as I keep saying, we're just going to wait until the numbers on Tuesday, and hopefully what we'll see is this actually roll down to the downside. But if it does decide that instead it wants to go to the upside and we break this high point here, then we're really not going to be stopping technically up until this level or even further up there. Oh, of course that's not going to be intraday, that's, weeks and months. But a break off here is probably going to be quite an explosive move upwards. It would be a break of the long-term MA as well, which is what it's now touching, and so it's one to keep a really close eye on. So that's our technical overview for USD JPY, Euro USD, and GBP USD for the next week. Now normally we only post this on our website for our VIP members, but we're starting to put these onto YouTube now as well to really try and help out more and more people. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to get involved in our VIP Academy, where we teach you how to trade, give you personal mentorship, and give you trading signals throughout the week, then there'll be a link in the description to the free group chat. You can join that and speak with me, and we'll get you set up on the Training Academy for free, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys in there.